Our YouTube subscribers, my name is Rayshawn, known as Rayniz on Facebook, also known as Mr. Ceiling Fan Man 1999 on YouTube. Now, what's going on is, on this video episode of Happy National Ceiling Fan Day. Now, what's going on is that I'm showing you guys my custom downrod Littleton ceiling fan that I was attempting to make back in the fall of 2022, but never even finished it and stuff, considering the fact that I was going through a lot back then and stuff. So other than that, now this downrod Littleton that you're looking at, it's not the same downrod Littleton as that ceiling fan over there, but this is another one that I was attempting to make back in 2022, but never even finished it up and all that stuff because I didn't even have because the Littleton blades, I ended up using the Littleton blades to fix up another ceiling fan for a friend of mine and stuff. And didn't even, from around the time when I wasn't planning on turning this Littleton into a downrod Littleton. And yeah, this the same downrod Littleton that I filmed in 2022 when I had the longer blades on the fan that was making the ceiling fan 52 inches. But it just didn't make the ceiling fan look right and stuff. So I decided that that I was gonna put a spare set of blades on there. Now the blades that you see on this fan actually goes to a Hampton Bay Littleton ceiling fan that was made by Air-Cool. And the Hampton Bay Littleton that was made by Air-Cool was dated November 2008. Now, some reason I didn't even care much about having that ceiling fan and stuff, other than because the pull chain for the light and the fan was broken. And I wasn't even planning on fixing up that ceiling fan and stuff because I got too many ceiling fans piling up and stuff. So I decided why not just part it out and use the blades for it to fix up this ceiling fan that I was in the midst of trying to build it on my own and stuff. So other than that, so now the canopy and the downrod you see on the fan came off of my SMC Park Avenue model F52. And then so the next thing is that I ended up spray painting the motor housing white and stuff because the motor housing was originally a bright brass color and stuff. So other than that, and then I remember somebody asked me if I can make a video of the ceiling fan shown with the light kit and stuff. So that's what I'm doing now. So other than that, I'm about to go on to demonstrate this fan starting off with the light. And then as you can see that I did put the LED cone-shaped light bulbs inside the light kit of the fan and stuff for whatever reason and all that stuff. I decided to do it. Okay, so this is light off. So I'm about to go on and turn this fan on, starting off with low. Yeah, so while I'm demonstrating this fan, I'm about to go on and tell you all the parts and stuff. So the canopy downrod and the mounting bracket went to my SMC Park Avenue model F52 ceiling fan. And then the motor housing itself went to an SMC Park Avenue 2 ceiling fan model DC42 that came out of my friend's house. And I parted out that SMC Park Avenue 2's model DC42 ceiling fan that was in my friend's house. And the motor itself that's making the blades go around, the motor actually came off of a Hampton Bay Littleton ceiling fan that was made by SMC. And that ceiling fan was dated May of 2007. And then the blade set itself came off of a Hampton Bay Littleton ceiling fan that was made by Air-Cool back in November 2008. And the switch housing and the light kit, it came off of a Heritage Lancaster ceiling fan that I parted out. And that Heritage Lancaster ceiling fan was dated October 2002. And no, it is not the same Heritage Lancaster ceiling fan that I spray painted, oil rub, bronze, and sold the fan and stuff. And then the light shades you see on this fan is the light shades that I bought from the Habitat Restore back in 2021. I bought them globes just to buy, just so I just bought the globes just to buy it and all that stuff. So other than that, and then the pull chains and stuff. Now the two pull chains actually came off of a Heritage Alexis ceiling fan that was dated March of 2001 that I parted out, considering the fact that the Heritage Alexis ceiling fan only came with the motor and stuff, and it wasn't any blade. It didn't even have any blades on there when I salvaged that fan. So I decided, why not? I'll just go on and use that fan for parts. And no, it is not the same Heritage Alexis ceiling fan that I salvaged out of my stepmama Chevette's house. But the only thing I kind of don't like about them chains is that it doesn't even match the fan and stuff. But it really doesn't matter to me because I can always find some pull chains, pendants and stuff that'll match the fan anyway. So that really ain't no biggie for real. So other than that, this is just about low. And then I also forgot to mention that the ceiling fan is 3 speeds and is electrically reversible. Even though anybody that has a ceiling fan already knows that, so that stuff is obvious and stuff. It's just that I ain't trying to put myself at the risk of talking about a whole bunch of nothing and all that stuff. But other than that, yeah, then I forgot to tell you that this fan is also putting out a good amount of breeze on medium and stuff for a 42-inch ceiling fan. That's probably because I pitched the blades and all that stuff, because when I left the blades at his original pitch, the ceiling fan was going a bit too fast and stuff. So I decided to put it at a steeper pitch and stuff so it could slow the fan down and stuff. And because of the blades on the ceiling fan are a tiny bit warped, but they not warped and stuff. And plus they not even that much in the perfect alignment and stuff. So it's causing the ceiling fan to wobble and stuff. So the wobbling on the fan is not really that noticeable unless you can really stare at that fan for real and stuff. Cause it's really not that noticeable on camera like how it is as if you was to see it in person and stuff. And it is putting out a good amount of breeze and stuff. And then as you will notice, that if the reverse switch is up, that makes that fan blow downdraft. And like looking at the reverse switch and stuff, up is for downdraft. And if you put the reverse switch down, that makes the fan operate on updraft. That's because I made a mistake and put the reverse switch in upside down. From when I was putting electrical parts inside the switch housing and stuff. Yeah, so other than that, the original switch housing for the ceiling fan, I'll be right there. I'm just using this as a sample of what the original switch housing for that fan looked like and stuff. So this is what the original switch housing for that fan looked like. All right, so back to this fan and stuff. So yeah, so other than that, it was so the original switch housing is a single fitter integrated light kit and stuff, schoolhouse light kit, as you guys saw and stuff. So other than that, this is just about medium. I'm about to go on and bump it up to high. And then, as typical for a Hampton Bay Littleton ceiling fan, now the startup sound of the ceiling fan sounds exactly like a startup sound on the SMC Emperor ceiling fan model T52 that was made back in the early 80s. Cause like if you turn the fan on high speed and stuff, it makes that harmonic sound, and the harmonic sound goes something like woo 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 woo. That's the harmonic sound. You really can't even hear it for real. Probably because I converted this into a down rod mount ceiling fan. So You can barely even hear it and stuff, but it does make that harmonic sound and stuff. Which is similar to the harmonic sound of an SMC Empress ceiling fan model T52 that was made back in the early 80s. And it is blowing pretty good for a small ceiling fan and stuff. And yes, I'm filming this at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm really filming this video at 4:14 in the morning and stuff. So yeah, I'm filming this at 4 in the morning and stuff. So other than that, I'm about to go on and turn this thing off. Hold on, give me a minute. All right, so there you have it. This is my 42-inch white down rod Littleton ceiling fan. And I forgot to mention that the blades on this fan are reversible from white to bleached oak, and it's an AccuArm ceiling fan. I forgot to mention that. So other than that, I'm about to go on to get my butt off this video. Excuse me. So this is Ray Nizzle, known as Ray Nizzle on Facebook. My name is Rayshawn Willis, known as Mr. Ceiling Fan Man 1999 on YouTube. Signing out this video, and I am out.